The decline. Within 6 years of this tragic colonial manipulation, Nigeria was a cesspool of corruption and misrule. Public servants helped themselves freely to the nation's wealth. Elections were blatantly rigged. The subsequent national census was outrageously stage managed. Judges and magistrates were manipulated by the politicians in power. The politicians themselves were pawns of foreign business interests. The social malaise in Nigerian society was political corruption. The structure of the country was such that there was an inbuilt power struggle among the ethnic groups. And of course, those who were in power wanted to stay in power. The easiest and simplest way to retain it, even in a limited area, was to appeal to tribal sentiments. So they were egregiously exploited in the 1950s and 1960s. The original idea of one Nigeria was pressed by the leaders and intellectuals from the eastern region. With all their shortcomings, they had this idea to build the country as one. The first to object were the Northerners, led by the Sardauna, who were followed closely by the Awolowo clique that had created the Action Group. The Northern People's Congress of the Saudanians was supposed to be a national party, yet it refused to change its name from Northern to Nigerian People's Congress, even for the sake of appearances. It refused right up to the end of the civilian regime. The Prime Minister of Nigeria, Sir Abubakar Tafawa Balewa, who had been built up into a great statesman by the Western world, did nothing to save his country from impending chaos. The British made certain, on the eve of their departure, that power went to that conservative element in the country that had played no real part in the struggle for independence. This was the situation in which I wrote my novel, A Man of the People. Nigerian artists responded to these events in a variety of ways. The irrepressible Wole Soyinka put on the stage a devastating satire, Before the Blackout, which played to packed houses night after night in Ibadan. The popular traveling theatre of Hubert Ogunde and his many wives began to stage a play clearly directed against the crooked premier of Western Nigeria. The theatre group was declared an unlawful society and banned in Western Nigeria. Things were coming to a head in that region. Violence erupted after an unbelievable election swindle as a result of the anger and frustration of Western Nigerians. It was in these circumstances that Wole Soyinka was charged with holding up the Ibadan radio station and removing the premier's taped speech. Creative writers in independent Nigeria found themselves with a new terrifying problem on their hands. They found that the independence their country was supposed to have won was totally without content. In the words of Nnamdi Azikiwe, Nigeria was given her freedom on a platter of gold. We should have known that freedom should be won, not given on a plate. Like the head of John the Baptist, this gift to Nigeria proved most unlucky.